Hey everyone, Marty Snider, Nate Ryan, and Dale Jarrett joining you here. So DJ, after Sonoma this weekend, just 10 races left to make the Cup Series playoffs. Let's take a look at the championship standings going into the Sonoma race. And there's a lot of drivers that don't look like they're in very good shape. Who are you worried about in these final 10 races before the playoffs?
Gosh, Marty, it's hard to imagine that we're already in this position of talking about getting down to those final 10 after the Sonoma race. But that's where we're at. And who I'm worried about is everyone from 15th on down. And we don't see 21st through 30th, but there's some big names back in there, one being Chase Elliott. Who's mired way back, I believe, in 28th. So Chase is someone that we know has to win, among others back in that part of the standings. And I don't think that I have to think that if you're in 15th, like Bubba Wallace, and 16th, Daniel Suarez, that you have to think that you're kind of looking over your shoulder there and saying, we're going to have at least one or two more winners here. And sitting in these spots, those go away very quickly if that comes from outside this group of 16 that we see in there now. And that could very easily happen with the road courses that we have coming, that you have a lot of drivers that are really good at these road course. And of course, we're going to throw in a street race on top of that. And we'll see who the best street racer is at Chicago in just a few weeks. But you talk about Cindric and McDowell, A.J. Allmendinger, Daniel Suarez, and, of course, Chase Elliott being a part of that, too, that could go grab a victory in any of these road course and street races. Then we always have to look ahead to that last race of the regular season at Daytona where anyone could win. So you can't be sitting there thinking that if I'm in 15th and 16th, points aren't what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about how are we going to get our driver, and how, as a driver, how am I going to get myself to victory lane?
Yeah, DJ, I would say, I'm not really worried about anybody, because that would imply that some people shouldn't be worried. And I think everybody should be worried at this point, including, maybe up into Kevin Harvick, who's right there in terms of drivers who don't have wins with the most points. I mean, he's 166 points above the cut line, as you can see right there. I think probably he's okay. And Ross Chastain's probably feeling like, hey, they've got enough of a point bulge. But if you look back at last season and consider the fact that only, you had so many winners during the regular season last year, I mean, it's conceivable that only one or two guys could make the playoffs on points. So I think anybody from Brad Keselowski on back certainly should be thinking they still need to win. And I think there's a lot of guys who still could win. I mean, there's 10 races left. There's a lot of X Factor type tracks out there, starting with Sonoma. I mean, you certainly put the Chicago street race, I think, in that equation as well. And, DJ mentioned Chase Elliott. I mean, AJ Allmendinger is another guy who we don't see on that list, who I think he could still jump out there, and maybe he's the inaugural Chicago street race winner and he's in the playoffs. So I think there's still a lot of different ways this scenario can break. And I think we saw last year that the only true way to feel as if you're not worried is you have to win in the regular season.
So, DJ, to Nate's point, if you're Alan Gustafson, what is the path for Chase Elliott to make the playoffs? Do you start looking at, okay, we're good at these certain tracks, let's circle those, let's focus on those in these final 10 and 11 races?
Yeah, I think you definitely, and your focus is winning. I understand they would like to accumulate some playoff points along the way, and maybe trying to get, a stage win or two. I think they have to really take that out of their mindset and understand Chase is capable of winning at any track that's on the schedule in these next 11 weeks. So put him in a position to do that each and every week. Go get that win first, and then you can worry about somehow accumulating some playoff points, if you will. But we have to put Chase Elliott in the best scenario and best case scenario of up front racing for a win every single week. And I realize that's hard to do because you don't always have the best car. But this driver and team, they're in a position now that winning is the only thing that matters. So put him there. And I think that Alan Gustafson and this team understands that 100% what they have to do if they want to be a part of the playoffs in 2023.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.